And we're live. Happy Friday. It is April the 12th, 2024. Interesting day today, I think. Yesterday after I ended the stream, I mean, the market just like rocketed up. Not immediately after we ended, but throughout the day, the market just took off to the upside. All of the, I laugh because when the employment, or was it CPI? I think CPI news, the inflation news, when that came out, the news was talking about how the market's down. The thing I kept hearing was the Dow Jones was down up as many as 500 points today. Well, we gained it all back, right, yesterday. So that's how these things go. But I was very annoyed yesterday because I was in the gold trade, right, that I wait for. And I ended up getting chopped out of it. So this morning in gold, we're coming in super choppy. I did take a trade down here, which failed, but I got in just now right here. Well, I didn't move my target down to be above this candle. So I got in above this candle a little bit late, but it's taken off. So we're going to let it go. We're kind of at some pretty high levels here. Yeah. I mean, I don't have a, like, there's no price target up here, right? So we're kind of at sort of this uncharted territory. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going back super far. Well, we haven't been up here in the last 90 days. I guess we'll put it that way. It's been a long time. So let's see. The level. Yeah, so these size up here, these are kind of this is the only gauge we have to work with at this moment. I like the fact that we broke low. We crossed up, tested the midline, then took off. That was the trade I entered. Of course, the red line, the gold line, those are all in agreement with that direction. I don't really like how choppy we were coming in, right? I mean, that could work to our favor, some consolidation, and now maybe we're starting to break out, but it wasn't consolidation for a very long time. So we'll see. Again, very tight range. It's only 34 ticks or something like that. 37. So let's see if this holds. Got our little fair value gap here. This open range holds, the gold line holds. We might actually get in on a second contract here if we break high. See what happens. Definitely want to maximize this guy if he decides to move up. Got to make back some money from yesterday. It's not really about making back money from yesterday. It's about catching the good trade and maximizing the good trades as they come along. Excuse me. So we're 20 ticks in profit at this moment from our first entry. So we'll go ahead and take a second contract there. See if we can reach up here a little ways. Does add more risk. We'll see if we get a break above this line. It'd be nice to see it just kind of continue up. The one mistake I made yesterday in a trade that I was in, got in a really good entry. It broke the range. It was pushing up. I was moving my stop up kind of behind the pivots. Price came down and took out my stop to the tick. To the tick, and then just, kept rolling up. So, stop placement is something I still need to work on. Break evens on this trade right now is at 14.9. So basically where the top of this box is. Oh, we got stopped out. Oh, it ran down here, stopped us out. So unfortunate. Let's see what it does. I really don't like taking trades into the all-time highs like this. It's just less clear what it's going to do. If it's going to break through, is it going to chop? Is it, who knows? So I don't know. Gold just isn't very happy with me lately. Let me look. Oil is on a big uptrend. Here we're in the open range formation. Meanwhile, NQ had a kind of a big sell-off here. And then we came down, we tapped this level here, which is a 15-minute low from the other day. We also closed below a 15-minute fair value gap that formed yesterday in its big run up. So all this is fairly bearish, I think, for NQ. Unless this is where it wants to come down and turn around. But the next low over here in NQ is way down there. It's another, I don't know, 115, 116 points. All right, gold, what are you doing? So we did come back. We're retesting the midline again. What I really don't like about gold right now is the fact that the open range was formed in this very tight consolidation. And now we've expanded beyond that to the point where kind of our average candle length is like, more than half the open range. That makes me a little cautious here. I mean, 20-point candles in a 37 or 20 tick candles, 37 tick open range means that don't know how much I trust my range numbers in this circumstance. But we're holding above our averages at the moment. We did close below this fair value gap, which causes me pause here. Strong rejection. Push through here. I mean, with the way that gold is behaving right now, it's kind of taking out both sides, so we'll see. One thing I've noticed recently, at least, the last week or so in gold, seems like really the best trades in gold are setting up like, 9 o'clock time frame. We'll get some kind of a break, maybe even a reach high, then it'll come down to this midline, and then that's when it starts its kind of grind where it'll start to just kind of trend in one direction. My problem is I run out. I either win or I lose early, and I'm not around for those opportunities. So I'm going to try and stay in the game this time around. Oil's still pushing up. Pretty nice size range for oil. Yeah, see, ordinarily here in gold, I would have wanted to get in at the break of this candle. But I didn't because we could close below this fair value gap, so that, and the choppy price action. So that turns out to be a good call, as now we're down below, testing the red line. The better entry over here would have been we broke out and we wrapped the red line here. I was too slow on this, so I waited until we came back for this retest. But that would have been a pretty decent trade. That went 50 ticks right there. That would have been one I would have got in on if I had been kind of paying attention, which I just wasn't. Yeah, so we broke out the bottom, we broke out the top. We had kind of a stronger attempt on the top side. We pushed out, pulled back, pushed out just a touch higher, and then got slammed back down. So now we're wrapping the red line on, going short. There's no real short-term trend here. It's just sideways. I think I'm just going to wait on gold for now. The reason is there's like conflicting signals here, right? The behavior in this fair value gap says I should be short. I'm on the bottom of the pierced through the bottom of the open range, which says I should be short, but we're on the top of the red line, which says I should be long. So I don't know. When we don't know, we should probably just wait for more information. So that's what we're going to do. The oil range is closed. A nice push up. Kind of we're back down to this midpoint, which is good. We haven't really had a touch of this gold line since we kind of crossed. So it'd be nice to come down, see a test of this and a push higher. Otherwise, this is a little bit of an interesting scenario where we have price just moving. You know, there's not really a back and forth in this range creation. It just went from the bottom to the top. So this is an uptrend for sure. All right, well, it looks like in gold, the red line is prevailing. The overnight open in oil is way down here. It's 142 from the midline of the open range, so probably not a factor yet. Boy, gold just doesn't know what it wants to do here. I think we do have 10 o'clock news today too, so that might be part of the reason for this sideways action for now. Don't know though. I don't think it's. Oh, what was that news? Let me look. I don't remember. Consumer sentiment. This is showing that as low impact, but I seem to remember consumer sentiment not being low impact. Guess we'll see. All right, well, we have held this red line. Now we're pushing up through the range here. Well, we touched it. Hasn't decided yet if it wants to go through. All right, NQ is back down to this lower level again. Here 5 minutes before the open. Give it 5 minutes. Let equities open. See what happens there. Kind of interested too in oil because we're coming up to this. It came back kind of down to the midline. So this actually would have been probably a pretty decent entry. Low risk anyway. So we'll see if we put in a new high or if this high holds. That might tell us if we're getting ready to change direction or if we're going to continue a trend higher today. We'll see what happens in NQ. I mean, a huge run up yesterday, so I don't know if today's going to be more of a consolidation day or not. We had consolidation in Asia. We had some expansion in London, and it looks like we're kind of distributing down here, right? So that's, I don't know that that really bodes well for what might happen during the AM session. Did this come low here? Nope. Came down to the exact same spot, so now we got equal lows. Okay, oil's up to the top of this range. See what we do here. Okay, so NQ took out those lows and resumes its downward trek. Gosh. So if NQ does this, where it pushes way down here right before the open, what do we think the open's going to look like? Is it going to continue or is it going to rip up the other way? My guess is that during the open, we pull back up into this area. Probably it'd be great if we pulled back kind of up into here before we roll back over down. It'd be nice to see, but time will tell if we get that lucky. All right, so gold created this lower high right here. So we're continuing with the higher lows, but now we have a lower high, so might be getting ready to break out of this. We saw this yesterday. It did this, and then it fell like a lot. A lot. If you'll recall, right here. Right, we chopped up. As soon as we created this lower low, that's when it dropped down. Of course, then it bounced off the overnight open. And then we got this nice midline trade, which would have taken us, all the way up here. Well, we couldn't have held past here. So say 362. And there it goes. There's the drop. So maybe it'll do the same thing that it did yesterday. It'll drop and then give us a nice retest long. All right, NQ opened, and we're not going up yet. We're coming down. Top of the range held in gold, or not in gold, in oil. Yeah, all right, there's the push up. That's what we wanted to see out of NQ. Okay, there we go. So in NQ, I want to keep an eye on this 15-minute fair value gap we created this morning. Pop that up here. So that's a 15-minute fair value gap. So that's why I would love to see it push up into this area and then get an inversion down. That would be awesome. We have this nice kind of level, the bottom of this gap, all these equal highs here. So it'd be nice to see it push up into this and then an inversion down so we can come back down here and take out these lows. Yeah, oil broke out. Gold is breaking out. But again, this gold range, I don't hold a ton of, I'm not giving it a ton of weight this morning because we've chopped both sides of it several times. It's a very small range relative to, our candle size right now. I mean, this current candle here is 33. That's almost the width of our open range. So in gold, we need to see a rotate out of this range and then a retest back into it so that we can go somewhere with it. NQ rejected the gold line. So let's see. We didn't get up where I wanted us to get to. I don't know if oil just keeps this like upward kind of trend going. I just have to jump in here on some kind of a pullback and just in case it continues. Because we had this hesitation, but then still moving higher. Remember, we have news at 10 o'clock, so that could wake things up a little bit since NQ seems to have stalled out here for now. It is interesting that that NQ reached up into this first fair value gap here, which was created with this move, this strong move down. Kind of just wicked right up in there about halfway and then rejected from it. Actually, I'm going to leave that there then. Some levels showing us some resistance. All right, well, oil's not going to give us an entry, it looks like. At least not yet. And, oops. Well, I mean, the longer the gold spends inside this range, the more likely it is a breakout's going to be more exciting, right? I think I like these higher lows over here. I mean, I guess you could have argued that we had, price action was above, price action was below. We came up, we had a retest, and now it's taken off. But, eesh, 67. So I think the only way to have caught that one right there was just to be in basically every kind of retest, which actually would have worked out okay, honestly. I mean, price was below, we came up. If you want to call this a retest, this was the wrap we talked about. I mean, it moved up. Came back down, tested. This moved up. It was really choppy, but it did move up. Came down below, came above, retested, and then it finally took off. So I guess even if we got stopped out here and here, we would have made it up here. Look at this. This is how tricky gold is, because if you had got in here, because this was the candle that touched the red line and the midline, and this is what I would have done, is I would have put my stop right, like one tick below that candle right here. Before it took off, it came down just below this candle by, a tick or two. So the low of this candle was 12.7. The low of this candle was 12.5. So it came just 2 ticks below, which if your stop is 1 tick below, it would have to come 2 to fill up, maybe, depending on what kind of order you had. That's what it did, and then took off. So something to note, in gold is, that's manipulation. That's knowing exactly where things are at. That's going down and getting them before, you make the move. So something to be wary of. Maybe I should make a rule that I put my stop, like 4 ticks below the low, just in case that happens. What would the stop have been? Would have been 24, so fairly wide stop, but as I've observed, you kind of need wide stops to stay safe in gold. They may still get hit, but keep them too tight and they're almost guaranteed to get hit. All right, let's crunch this up a little bit. Too much, too much. There we go. If this were equities, I would expect this to break low. But I don't know. I'm not sure how gold is going to handle that. This could be the start of a trend, or we could just chop back inside this range. All right. Good job. Good job, NQ. The range is formed. We're now pushing higher. We've now inverted that fair value gap that was holding earlier. Awesome. Now let's see if we push up into this gap and take out these highs here. That would be nice of you to do that for me. Less than 10 minutes till the news. Oil's pulling back inside the range. All right, well, I guess we better put our extensions on gold up here just in case. Again, super small range, so we would expect it probably to hit at least 400%. Because that's really not that much. Well, 148. That would be a pretty big move. We're already at 250%. Gold. Gold has become my nemesis. Because I see it. Just keeps tricking me. Let's see. Oil's way back inside. We did not hit the 50% level, so. Still some upside potential there if it decides to go up. But we are pulling back to the midline, which is also closing below this low, which is a little more bearish. We'll see what happens there. Still waiting for NQ to push up and take out these highs up and push up into this 15-minute gap, which would also correspond to our red line, ironically enough. Boy, it's getting really hesitant up here in NQ. Just doesn't quite want to go there yet. Which is kind of interesting. Gold is, or not gold, oil is starting to roll over a little bit. After its very, very long upward push. Gold's holding steady, and NQ is as well. 3 minutes till the news. I'm going to run. We got 3 minutes. So I'm going to run upstairs. I'm going to grab a drink of water because I need a drink of water. So we'll be back in a second. All right, there's the news. All right, so NQ tapped that high and is now ripping down. Ripping off that red line. Massively. Well, oil didn't care about that news at all. She didn't expect it to. Gold and NQ had similar reactions. I'm going to let this dust settle for a minute before I consider anything. I mean, this technically could have been an okay gold line trade, but a little cautious since the kind of the news that took us down there. But would have worked. Yeah, it would have worked. Look at that go. Curse you, gold. Hit the 300% right there. All right, CL's coming off of the gold line, pushing back up through the top of the open range. Let's see, what are we doing over here? So NQ right back down to this line here. Seems to be a line that is holding up for the time being. But it was here 1, 2. This is the third time. See if the third time is the charm for a failure. All right, let's clean this gold chart up a little bit. Get rid of all these lines that don't matter. Move this over here. Just want that as a reference point. So in oil now we had a lower low and now we have a lower high. So we'll see how it plays out, but definitely cautious on the long side in oil right now. NQ still whipping around like a crazy person. And gold is continuing its kind of grind up. Although it's struggling to reach back up to this high it created on the wick of this candle. So maybe that's all I had. Yeah, there we go. Where did we say the overnight open was? It's below us in oil. But it's very, very far below us in oil, so. Oh, and we're still moving up. See if we can get that 400. Put a little line there. Almost there. Almost there. I'm not really sure what I'm waiting for in oil right now. I mean, we're on a very sort of strong, sustained uptrend, but we broke structure here. We seem to be consolidating. So it feels like we've lost kind of the momentum of that uptrend. But we could just as easily be going sideways now for a minute before we resume. So we'll see. We've had no inside bars on the 5-minute chart for oil, which is noteworthy. Although the last 3 5-minute bars have been, all this nonsense, have been basically equal bars. All right. Gold says, I'll see your 400% and give you 5. Let's add a 500 just to see. Yep, got it. That is nuts. Ah. My new goal in life is to catch one of these moves. I could die a happy person if I got one of these moves. Because we watch them happen, I mean, almost every day. Almost every day. The trick is finding the entry and then sitting through the noise that happens before it, goes where it always goes. I mean, it's not a surprise. It's just kind of messy. That's all. Wild. Wild stuff. All right. NQ just seems like it doesn't want to go higher. Holding right here and dropping. Here's the 15-minute NQ chart. I mean, we have so this is this low. The next 15-minute fair value gap of interest would be down here. Oops. Somewhere down there. That's probably not exact, but it was very kind of wicky in this area before it pushed up, so could be choppy coming down. And this is tricky because it's not really giving us any short entries. I mean, we could have taken this red line trade, but it happened right at as the news was coming out, so riskier. But there aren't any inversions that I've seen, unless there's something on a smaller time frame or a larger time frame. I doubt a larger time frame will give us anything. Nope. 30-second. Not really. The 30-second gave us this one. It was very small. It closed below it, closed above it, then shot back down. So it wasn't that great. So I don't really see any clean entries over here. Oil's still trying to hold it. It took a step backward, but now it's doing its best to regain this uptrend. I'm not buying it yet, though. See if we can get close above here. That'd be interesting. This gold chart just looks really funny to me. All these extensions are so small relative to the size of the candles. Like this one candle ran from, call it 250 to 350. So it ran 100% of the open range on that one candle. So weird. Very, very strange. Well, we finally closed above this fair value gap. It was kind of a choppy close, though, so then we got this other one up here. Plus, this close breached this high, right? So this candle that closed above it breached this high, so it's not great. Would honestly have liked to have seen a better fair value gap created on the way up, because then we could look for a nice, easy short opportunity. So we got this fair value gap, but it's kind of a small one. So in NQ, we did come off the midline of the open range and the gold line, supported by the red line. The trick would have been the entry and where would you place your stop loss? Because if you got in, say, off of this candle with the stop loss even above this candle, you would have got stopped out. This candle would have been safe, but, you know. Those entries are just tricky. We didn't really get an inversion short. There's just no, I don't know. I don't really see any quality setups happening here. All right, oil took out its high again. I don't know. I don't really see anything coming up here. So yeah, I don't know. None of the trades that I'm looking for are setting up at any rate. So I might go take a break for a minute, come back in a little while and see how it's shaping up. Probably going to pay closer attention today than I did yesterday, since yesterday, right after I left, is when it kind of got interesting. So don't want to miss out on that if it were to happen again. Although, big move yesterday, so, you know, maybe we don't get as big a move today. We may spend more time consolidating than anything. Just have to watch and see what happens. So I think that's it for today. So another losing day at this point anyway. Very frustrating. I'm not sure what's going on, because we had a good run there for several days, and then this week's been trickier. But it's been more tricky from the standpoint of just kind of getting fooled into things that look like they may work without waiting for kind of the perfect entries, which do happen and which work out with a high degree of probability. So I guess that's the lesson from this week, is just be more patient, trade less. I guess you can't lose your account by not trading, right? So that's probably not the right way to look at it, but anyway, that's all we got today. Hopefully everybody has a great weekend. Hopefully there's nice weather wherever you're at and you can enjoy it. And we'll be back at it Monday. Talk to you later.